Okay, here we go. Linear graphs, flip lesson number 4. So guess what? You've learned all the different ways to graph, and we're going to review those real quickly and then play a game at the end. We have graphed by making a table, and we're going to fly through this because it's just a review. We've picked the x's that we wanted. We've taken the x's and plugged them in. We've either written it out like this and put it in our calculators. Oops, I almost just forgot that negative. Either put it in our calculators and hit enter, or we did in our head, -2 times -1 is 2, 2 plus 3 is 5. Then we do the same thing with 0. We plug that in for x and either write it down and put it in our calculators, or write it down and do it in our heads. -2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. And we'd plug 1 in, and we'd write it down and either do it in our heads or in the calculator. And we get -2 plus 3 is 1. And then we remember that -1, 5 is a point. -1, 5. And we find that point by starting at the origin. We go to the left, -1, and we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, this is the x, this is the y. And then the point 0, 3, right, would be 0, and then 1, 2, 3. And the point 1, 1 would be over 1, up 1. And we would connect like that. Now, on the test that's coming up, we're probably not going to use a table, but it's good to know how to use a table because down the road, it's going to come in handy. So we learned our shortcuts. If an equation is in slope-intercept form, we remembered this is a good method for people. They write y equals mx plus b, and they remember that the slope is -5, and the y-intercept is 2. They remind themselves that's the y-axis. They find 2 on the y-axis. And they graph, and they always remember if my slope is -5 and I don't see anything, I've got to write a 1 here. So we're going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. We're going to connect our 2 dots. We are getting, oh, that's terrible. We are getting so good at doing this in class. I'm very impressed. It's like we can do it with our eyes closed. Also, we know how to graph when things are missing. This is in y equals mx plus b form, but the b is missing. The y-intercept is missing. So what does that mean? That's right. It's equal to 0. So we know that our slope is 3, our y-intercept is 0. We go to the y-axis, we graph our y-intercept, we do the slope. If the slope is 3, we have to remember to put that 1 underneath. So it's 1, 2, 3 over 1. We're going to connect the dots. So even when things are missing, we've become pretty good at filling in what's missing and graphing. Here, something's missing. It should be y equals mx plus b, and all I see is a y equals -4. So they've given us our y-intercept, but what's missing is the slope. So the way I ask in class, I'm like, look at this equation. How many x's do you see? And you guys say, oh, none, we don't see any. So that's why it's 0x, because there are 0 x's in that equation. So now we know that the slope is 0. So here we go. The y-intercept goes on the y-axis. And the slope, if the slope is 0, it's still a run 1. You're not going to rise at all, and you're going to run 1. Those are your 2 points. You're technically running forever, right, to the left and to the right. We also know that y equals just a number. When that's an integer there, that -4 is considered an integer. It's just a horizontal line, right? And then we talked about what happens when we have x equals. Well, if y equals is a horizontal line, then it makes sense that x equals would be a vertical line. And I showed you when I taught this that we would set up a table. If x equals 4, that means no matter what, that's all x can be. Y can be anything it wants, but x, right, always has to be 4. If we were to graph this table, we'd have 4, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3. It's really easy to see that it's forming a vertical line, right? Because every single point on this line has x equal to 4. And that's why it's called x equals 4. So you guys have become super good at that. And you even have become good at manipulating an equation to make it look like the y equals mx plus b form. So that's our goal. When we see something like this, which is in point, let's see, This is not point slope form. Let's see, by changing point slope form. Yeah, this is point slope form. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. We're going to change point slope form into slope intercept form, and that's y equals mx plus b. So here we go. When we see this side, we know we've got to distribute. So we're going to do 2 times x. Ooh, let's write the rest of it down. 2 times x is 2x. And don't forget that to do 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6. That distributing the 2 has to go to both terms in the parentheses. And then we're almost there, right? Our goal is to get y by itself. We want to get rid of the negative 4 by adding 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4, gone. All right. And then we talked about this. 4 and negative 6 are like terms. We can combine them. 2x, not so much. 2x, we just rewrite. There's nothing going on there. We can't combine. So negative 6 plus 4 is going to be negative 2. And there we have it, right? We've got that, our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is negative 2. So we're going to find the y-axis and put a negative 2 there. And our slope is 2. And we have to remember that run 1, so we go up 2, run 1. We connect the dots. Whew! I'm getting breathless. This pace is fast. So let's see. We almost are done with our review because we had one more type that we did, right? We did standard form. And we learned 2 methods. And I think for the most part, people like the cover-up method the best. And so when we do the cover-up method, we think about the x and y intercepts. We think what's x when y is equal to 0, and what's y equal when x is equal to 0. So if y is equal to 0, if I put a 0 in right here, it's going to make this whole thing go away. And all I'm left with is 3x equals 18. And if I'm going to solve for x, I divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals 6. So there's 1 point, right? All right, let me get rid of this because we're going to need this to come back, right? So wonder if x is equal to 0. Well, if x is equal to 0, 3 times 0 is 0. It's gone. Thank goodness I didn't do that, right? That would have been bad. Don't do that. So let's get rid of what I just did. Okay. So now what's left is this part. We're going to go ahead and rewrite negative 9y equals 18. We're going to divide both sides by negative 9, and we're going to do y equals negative 2. So that's what we write. And there we have it, right? We only need 2 points to sketch a line. And so our 2 points, one of them is 6, 0. We're going to go to the origin. We're going to remind ourselves that this is the y-axis, this is the x. X comes first. If I'm graphing 6, 0, that means the x is 6. So I go to the origin and I go over right 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, oh, the y is 0. So that means don't go anywhere. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, we're doing the x-intercept and the y-intercept. And then the other point is our 0, negative 2. So 0, negative 2, once again, that's where we go on the x-axis. That's where we go on the y. So when our x is 0, that means don't go anywhere. Don't move left or right on the x-axis. And the negative 2 means go down 2 on the y-axis. So there's my second point. I'm going to connect the 2 dots. All right, I almost connected. Hopefully you did a better job. So let's see how long that took us. It took us 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go over what we've been doing in class for what? 4 classes, 3 classes? So good for us. We can fly through it now. It wasn't always so easy, was it? And so in addition to reviewing, I wanted to do a different type of review and kind of make it a game. You know, I'm always saying it's a game. So let's see, let's play a game. Is this point on this line? So I know because we're graphing points and doing slope at the same time, our brain gets it confused because slope is rise over run, and yet when we graph a point, we're doing the x first and then the y. So let's see, is the point 1, 2 on this line? So let's see, if I graphed 1, 2, no, it's not on the line. All right, let's try negative 2, 0. Negative 2, 0, yep. It's on the line, that's good. How about negative 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, 2, 3. Yay, that's on the line. How about 3, 3? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Boo, that's not on the line. How about 0, 3? So 0 means don't move. Don't go left or right, and 3 means go up 3. 1, 2, 3. So that one is. All right, we just went through that, and I know that was really fast. But some people need that review of graphing the points because you're getting confused and going y first before x. And I understand it's because we've been doing slope. All right, so now let's play a different game. And this is this point on this line? And you're like, well, Ms. Overby, this isn't a line. And you're right, it's an equation that represents a line. We know that if we graphed it, we would see that it's a line. So this is a different game, and I'm doing this because you're going to need to be good at this on your test and when you do math in the future. So here we go. Here's how it's going to happen. See this 1? This 1 is the x value. We're going to plug 1 in when we see x. So here we go. I'm going to write the 2. I'm going to plug in the 1. Whenever I plug in, I use parentheses, plus 4. All right, now see the 6? The 6 is in the y spot. I'm going to plug that in when I see 6. And then I'm going to see if it's true. Is this a true statement? If I put in my calculator 2 times 1 plus 4, or 2 parentheses 1 parentheses plus 4 and hit enter, I'm going to get 6, aren't I? So this is a true statement, and that means that 1 comma 6 belongs on this line that's represented by y equals 2x plus 4. So this is really the new part right now. This very last part of the lesson is new. All right, let's do the same thing, this time with the next point. So we know that 1, 6 is part. So let's look at negative 2, 0. So let's see. If I plug negative 2 in for x, and then I plug 0 in for y, I'm going to see if this is true. Let's see if it's true. If I put 2 parentheses, negative 2 parentheses plus 4 in my calculator, it's going to say, oh, that's negative 4 plus 4, which is 0. That's true. This one also belongs on the line. And you're like, okay, are they all going to belong? Well, let's find out, right? All right, let's try it with the next one. So far, so far, let's put check marks by them. These first 2 are on the line. All right, let's look at negative 3, negative 3. So that means since x is equal to negative 3, then when I see x, I'm going to plug in the negative 3. And then when I see y, I'm going to plug in the negative 3. And let's see if this is true. If I put this into my calculator, 2 parentheses, negative 3 parentheses, plus 4, I'm going to get, let's see, negative 6 plus 4, which is negative 2. Does negative 3 equal negative 2? No, they don't. Negative 3 is not the same as negative 2. So that means this one is not on the line. Okay, so that point did not make the cut. That point is not on this line. All right, let me see if I can. All right, let's try 2 more points. Ready? I'm running out of colors. Let's pick a color. How about purple? Here we go. All right. All right, go ahead. Go away. How do I get this to go away? I picked you. It's not cooperating. There we go. All right, so here we go. We're going to do 1 comma 3. So we're going to plug 1 in for x. And we're going to plug 3 in for y. And let's see if that's true. We can tell it's not true already, right? 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. 3 doesn't equal 6. And because that statement's not true, we know this is not part of the line. So I hope this is making sense to you. We're going to definitely practice more of this. Let's, yep, I'm here and it's 4:10. Okay, and our very last one, let's go ahead and plug in 0, 4 and see if it's going to work. We'll plug in 0 for x. We're going to plug in 4 for y. Let's see if that's true. If we put this in our calculator and hit enter, yep, we'll get 0 plus 4 is 4. Finally, something's true. That means then that 0, 4 is on this point. All right, we will definitely practice. We're going to do lots of practice. We're going to practice all the different ways that we know how to graph, and we're going to practice, is this point on the line, because you're going to have to get good at that too. All right, keep up the good work, and I will see you in class. Thanks for joining me.